the reason these terms are used in the context they're used is because they're broad descriptors for people who are not entirely women in the group category. And again, it doesn't immediately like knock out or invalidate everything she's ever done or said that I think is good. Of course not, but like it's really dumb. This is really, really dumb. I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. 18 million views, 100,000 likes, comments absolutely packed full of Parker Mully, apparently. I don't know why Twitter's just pushing that to the top. Anna arguing with people, and a bunch of conservatives going like, wow, you're based, actually. There's Carrie Lake. Admittedly, Anna Kasparian is trying to beat them off with a stick, but still. I can't believe she left this. Well, I guess like deleting it would have mean that she kowtowed to the woke mob, which would have contributed to its own conservative agenda. This is really dumb, okay? Listen, far be it from me to speak over a woman, which I hate to do. I hate speaking over women. As a man, I hate speaking over women, okay? Just to let you all know, I hate doing that. But you're not being referred to person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that I don't think Anna Kasparian has ever been referred to that way. Those are group descriptors. She as an individual is never being pointed at and going, person with a uterus. Everybody says woman. The term woman has not gone anywhere. Even the wokest woke, like the wokest Tumblr, TikTok blue hairs are not like seeing a woman on the street and going like, oh yeah, that person with the uterus. You know why? Because that's the opposite of the point. The reason these terms are used in the context they're used is because they're broad descriptors for people who are not entirely women in the group category. Like, for instance, okay, when people have beards, it's almost always men. Almost always when somebody has a beard, that person is a man. But even leaving aside trans people, there are literally cisgender women who can grow beards. I mean, if you want to go down to like wispy mustache hairs, then that's basically everybody, okay? Not exactly an uncommon thing if you go down, you know, if you lower the bar far enough, okay? Now, if you wanted to say like, this razor is for people with facial hair, you wouldn't be erasing men as a category. All you'd be doing is kind of like, in the interest of inclusivity, correctly acknowledging the fact that it's not just men who have beards. And likewise, over here, the people who say person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates are doing so in the context of legislation and medicine which refers to birth, uteruses, and menstruation, a category of people which is not entirely women. Like, this is idiotic. Nobody is going up to Anna Kasparian and going, yes, birthing person. And if she's offended by the use of the term birthing person or person with a uterus to describe people who give birth or have uteruses, then, like, what is this Karen shit? Unironically, like, really, Karen shit. This is a certified white woman moment. This is not, nobody is going up to her and saying this. It's like in an era of virtually unprecedented social heat being directed at trans people, this is the most like, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, let's make this about me bullshit I've seen from like somebody who claims to be a progressive in a long time. And again, it doesn't immediately like knock out or invalidate everything she's ever done or said that I think is good. Of course not, but like it's really dumb. This is really, really dumb. Yeah, I saw her arguing with the Humanist Report. Hold on. My man. How you doing? See, we're oomfies. Bosch, you're being kind of mean. No, I'm not. The Humanist Report says, I respect you. Yeah, Mike. I respect you a lot, but this notion that the mere existence of trans-inclusive terms, rarely used in casual convos, somehow degrades women comes right out of the right's anti-trans war on women playbook. There's a reason why they're praising you for this. And then Anna, retardedly, says, hey, Mike, you're guy who has no clue what it's like to have your reproductive freedom taken away. So we can break this down like sentence by sentence, okay? People who use the term birthing person and person with the uterus will never try to take away Anna Kasparian's reproductive freedom. That is the opposite side of the aisle. No reproductive or sex-based rights are being taken away from the kinds of people who use trans-inclusive terms. Zero, none, nil, nada, You know, people earlier were saying this kind of aligned with turf rhetoric, but her immediately responding to Mike with, "You're a man, so you don't know what it's like," honest to God, kind of does resonate in that way. But consider what it's like to have the same lawmakers who fail to protect our rights turn around and call us people with uteruses. What? Are you like a Bernier buster now? What? Wait, the same lawmakers who failed to protect our right? Oh, so you mean the lawmakers who defended your rights, but there weren't enough? Wait, who? Roe v. Wade was taken away by the Supreme Court. That was a Supreme Court decision. Do you mean like state legislators for all the people who are going after like 6-week abortion bans? If that's the case, why are you directing your ire at the people who attempted to protect your rights but were outnumbered? Do you think that like the reason why reproductive rights are being rolled back across the country is because there are woke blue-haired state senators who are using terms like birthing person and menstruating person, but who failed to vote hard enough? Like they didn't do their ultra like uber vote. They didn't like deploy their like maximum overdrive Ken Shiken Kamehameha vote. Like what do you mean? This is idiotic. I think she means Congress never passed a law making it right. This is like the essence of I have no point but I must scream right here. It's so frustrating to see the people who voted to defend my rights use terms that are inclusive to trans people who I ostensibly politically support. What? It's not inclusive if cis women hate it. Hey, guys, desegregation is not inclusive if white people hate it. This is like straightforwardly reactionary right here. This is a reactionary talking point, okay? First of all, again, cis women are not being rolled up to and directly referred to as menstruating person. Like, look, I go back one level in the thread or whatever, and she responds to somebody. Oh, 2 levels in the thread, sorry. And she responds to somebody, and it's like, I think somebody asked her, like, where are you even hearing these terms being used? And the answer she had was like, oh yeah, there are some like medical texts and like some lawmakers. Well, don't you think inclusive language has a role in medicine and lawmaking? Like, is that like, that seems like a good time. Go back to the thread. It wasn't that thread? Okay. That seems like a good time to do those things. Oh yeah, here we go. It's used by many major institutions, the ACLU, the CDC, universities and news agencies, and prominent progressive figures like AOC, and the guilt by association charges lazy and lame. This is like so dumb. Like we are in the context in which they are being used, they're being talked about to describe broad groups of people in the context of medicine and legislation. This is not about like erasing women as a term at all. And again, I stand by my comparison, by the way. The idea that something isn't inclusive because the dominant power group in a context hate it, and that would be cis women in this case, because the term people with uteruses is meant to include cis women and like trans men and non-binary people. And of those 3 people, cis women have by far the most social power. The idea that it's not inclusive if the dominant group hates it, like that's really dumb, you know? Exactly the same as like, oh, well, how can you possibly say that racial integration is inclusive if actually the whites hate it or whatever? I hate the implication that the discomfort of trans men and non-binary people being lumped in with women is less important than cis women being referred to as terms that are more technically correct in appropriate context. Yeah, first of all, I'm not making any personal assumptions about Anna's like health here or whatever, but as I understand it, the term person with uterus objectively describes Anna. So we're not even talking like the ambiguity of social categorization here. This is literally just referring to people with uteruses. It's not like it, like again, this would literally be, this is like saying instead of saying men, you're saying people over 6 foot. Men are over 6 foot. Well, not all men are over 6 foot, and also there are people who aren't men who are over 6 foot. Why are you erasing men? Like tall people. Why not tall men? Like it's stupid. It doesn't mean anything. It's a fake problem. It's Karen shit. It's white woman. It's the white woman problems. Didn't have enough brunch mimosas. I have no idea. It's just very disappointing because I have a generally high opinion of Anna Kasparian's intelligence, and I have no idea where this is coming from. I say what I think as an independent person with an independent mind. I don't care what the right or left thinks. Oh my god. And I've made myself clear on being against any policy that harms the trans community. But maybe respect my personal boundaries too? Is that okay? My personal boundaries of being included in a group that you're objectively in by a descriptor that you objectively meet. Nobody's calling Anna Kasparian any of these terms directly. So how does this refer in any way to her personal do your personal boundaries extend to broad categorizations that aren't even being used in your presence? Like, could I be offended because somebody said, like, people with glasses? And I'm like, well, I'm not just defined by my glasses. That's offensive. And then people turn to me and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like looking at like a website or something or a commercial. They're like, people with leg hair. I'm not defined by my leg hair. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What? Why? No one was talking to you. Like, really, though? Like, this feels like people who say cis is a slur. Yeah, it really does. It really doesn't. It really does feel like, it really does, you know, she's like, you know, I support trans people, but don't call me cis. Oh, hey, and look what kind of people are here. The comments are full of conservatives who are, like, frothing at the mouth to defend her. Jank had a retarded tweet defending her and attacking AOC for some reason. Are people really pretending that people who menstruate is a term only used in clinical settings? AOC uses it and she doesn't appear to be a doctor. AOC is using it in the context of laws that refer to processes specifically dealing with people with uteruses or this, that, the other. These aren't being used in interpersonal conversations. It's not just about clinical settings. If we all have agreement that's not what you should call a woman in non-clinical settings, great deal, let America rejoice. Nobody's doing this! Okay. I know that Jenk is just defending Anna here because they're part of the same network. But, like, I don't know, man. This is really pathetic. I actually respect this way less than the shoe-on-head Balenciaga shit. Because, like, shoe-on-head has always had, like, a default bias towards, like, dumb populism. And I know that, and I've always known that. So when I wake up in the morning and people are mad because she did it again, it's like, okay. But like Anna Kasparian, is generally pretty rigorous when it comes to the stuff that she says and does. I don't agree with everything she says, of course, but you know, like I don't think of Anna Kasparian as a YouTuber. You know, I think of her as like a political pundit. This is just a really embarrassing lack of I don't know, self-awareness of political expediency. So because she's consistently worse, it's better, Vosh? Weird measure of perspective? Yeah, actually. If there's a quirk that's demonstrated by, like, an over-the-top political or, like, culture YouTuber who just, like, does their own thing and is very, like, upfront, like, hard on their sleeve, yeah, I actually do think if they do something dumb, I think that's a lot less bad than somebody who carries themselves with an enormous amount of professionalism, who, like, literally gets debates with Ben Shapiro and the upper echelons of like, conservative intelligentsia, just randomly dropping some zero IQ turf bullshit with no apparent connection to any previous ideology. Yeah, I do think that's a lot worse. Yes. I don't get it at all. Yeah, what is it with the Young Turks, man? At the end of the day, I don't think Anna's a transphobe or whatever. I've seen a bunch of people acting like she is. Dog, I don't know. That's the problem. Like, this is like classic white woman syndrome, right? Where like everyone's progressive about race issues till their daughter brings home a black guy. I don't know if this is Anna Kasparian just being like nominally pro-trans until suddenly something gets up her, like the chip lands on her shoulder, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, it's like, here's my personal crusade. I don't know, like, or maybe she just woke up on the wrong side of the bed this day, in which case, embarrassing. But like, yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. People with uteruses unironically saying trans women are men. What? What? Trans women don't have uteruses generally. I'm sure in this wacky world of ours, there's at least one exception, but to my knowledge, that's generally something they don't have. Though we're getting there, you know, womb transplants are becoming a thing pretty soon. So, well, you know, another Jenk L. She isn't going to learn from this and will just bring you further down, as is often the case. This kind of patronizing attitude makes people loathe far left extremists. Far left extremists? From this? Who the f*** are you to say Anna should learn what to say? Okay. Here's a man explaining to a woman what she should call herself. This mansplainer probably pretends to be a progressive. Okay, I do think that Cenk is only saying shit to defend Anna here. I think Cenk is in like full panic mode and has to present a unified front. I don't think this is actually a representation of his beliefs. He's always done. Yeah, he's loyal. He's ride or die, man. 100%. There are a bunch of shitty liberals on Vosh V pretending to speak for you or backing her up. Oh, don't worry, guys. Okay, let me do the denunciation, okay? If you post to my subreddit, Vosh V, I hate you, and you're a liberal, and you will not see the kingdom of heaven, you will never feel the loving embrace of God, and you have no bitches. 0 bitches. You will never get a bitch. Even if you leave the subreddit, you won't. Got it. There we go. Denunciation complete. Nailed it. Liz, I have 0 problems with inclusion, none, but there's got to be a better way than boiling it down to a body part, no? No, in the context of talking about, say, like, reproductive rights, people with uteruses is the most objectively correct, like, categorization you could possibly make when you're talking about, like, abortion. Like, that's literally... That's the most... Especially in the context of having reproductive rights taken away from people just seeing women as a baby-making vessel, that's all I'm saying. Is the argument here that using the term person with a uterus to describe uterus-related activities reduces women down to their biological functions? Wouldn't exclusively saying women when referring in fact to people with uteruses not only be less inclusive, but also further reduce women down to that role? Like, women should care about this. Women's right, women this, women that. Well, in that case, you are just saying women equals person with uterus. You're the one reducing them down to a baby-making vessel. Whereas if you say person with uterus, you can, like, Anna, you can just be like, ah, yeah, well, people with uteruses, you know, I've also got, like, an arm. I've got glasses. I have glasses. You don't have, I don't think you have glasses. Hair, you know. Ah, people with hair. Why don't you just call me a woman? No, it's like, well, you have hair. You know? Hi, Anna. No one is asking you to call yourself or called anything other than a woman. No one. Biden admin replaces mothers with birthing people in maternal health guidance. Wow. Probably because the maternal health guidance is a guideline specifically for people giving birth. What? Oh, wow. Literally, like, again, like, 12K likes, by the way. Like, this, it's a further representation of the stupendous retardation of the conservative mind, which, by the way, Anna is completely backing up here. Anna agrees with this. This isn't just conservatives. Anna agrees. He's making her point. She was bitching about lawmakers using it. That's the exact same context that this person is using it. No one's, literally, no one is asking you to call yourself or be called anything other than a woman. No one, huh? Well, here's an ad I found that refers to people with Costco memberships, Costco membership havers. Anna, do you have a Costco membership? How do you feel about women being reduced down to their Costco saving function? How do you feel about your whole identity being boiled down to your box smart bulk buy membership status? Like literally, I'm not even exaggerating. It's the same thing. Anna rightly objects to being referred to as a person with a uterus. Why? She has one, I assume. If she doesn't have one, I don't know why she's even, because then she's literally not even in the... What? Anna doesn't like the fact that there's people with feet. I'm not just my feet. I have ankles. I can't... She still uses the term cis woman, which is simply a shorter way of saying the same thing. These people are... Funnily enough, Matt is correct. It is internally contradictory to get angry over person with a uterus as a blanket term, but also use the term cis women. He's right. These contradict each other. Because if you would say cis woman, you're implicitly acknowledging the existence of trans women, who are women who, again, at least for now, don't have uteruses, and thus the corollary, trans men, who are people with uteruses who aren't women. Therefore, there is a contradiction between... Oh my god! Dude, her point was so dumb that Matt Walsh pointed it out. Oh my god! Oh my god, he's right! Oh, wow, that actually hurts. That's like psychic damage right there. Losing to Matt. Why can't every left-leaning commentator just be me? Just like a series of clones, okay? You just go on YouTube and you have like the far right or whatever, and then you just have a bunch of people in Hawaiian shirts with coffee cups who are explaining why they didn't stream the past 3 days and calling each other retards. If only.